Hello, everybody. It is Brandy Zucker back at it again with another episode of Zuck It Up, where it's basically just me talking about anything I feel like talking about for 1 hour straight. And I know it's been a while. It's been a while since I have been on here talking my talk and walking my walk. The truth is that I really couldn't bring myself to do anything the past couple of days since my concert. Okay, so I guess we'll start by talking about my concert. So I had my third concert ever on April 21st, and this one took place at the Brooklyn Music Kitchen. I did a phenomenal job. I have videos of every song I sang. I did a 30-minute set. It was about like 7 songs, 8 songs, 9 songs, something like that. I had a really fun time. Yeah, my costume was really awesome. There's photos I posted on Instagram, and um, my mother was there. She took all these videos and she put it on her Facebook. I haven't posted any of the videos. I think I didn't post any of the videos because I think there's just so many videos and I just didn't know which ones to post, so I just stuck with the photos. Um, but it was awesome. So that went pretty good. My parents came and they brought a bunch of their friends, and um, one of my friends came. My sister was there, and it was a good time. And it was cool because on the way out there was a bus that passed by, and it had my initial and my lucky number on the bus as it drove by. And I love when I see signs like that because it always just gives me a really good feeling of hope. So I felt really hopeful after that performance. And then my dad was like, "Do you want money?" And I'm like, "Sure." He's like, "How much do you want?" And I said, $500. And he said, "Is 300 good?" And I said $500. He said, "What do you need it for?" And I said, "Living, food, gas." And he said, "Okay, here you go." I said, "Thank you." So, yeah, thanks, Dad. I think that will be the last time I get money from him. I hope so. It's always like a weird thing getting money from your parents when you don't feel like it. You know what I mean? But I felt like it, so nothing wrong with that. Nothing. There's no shame. There is no shame. This is a shame-free planet. We don't hold shame in this vessel. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. So, okay, so that was my concert. They invited me back again in June, and a woman reached out to me, and she asked me if I wanted to open up for her at a venue in Nyack in June as well. So I'm waiting for her to send me the email of the details. But as of now, I have 2 performances coming up in June, so that is pretty exciting. That is pretty exciting. So, one thing that I have been on the fence about is deciding whether or not I want to apply to work at my sleepaway camp this summer. So, I used to go to a sleepaway camp for a long time, and I realized that I really missed the magic of that camp a lot. That place was just so special, and I miss it so much. And I wonder if I should apply to work there this summer. I can't tell if camp is what I want or the feeling of camp is what I want. And I feel like there really is nothing in the world that's like the feeling of camp unless there's a way that I can create that magic every single day in my life. And ultimately, I think that's what I really, really, really want because I can't just be reliant on a couple months a year to bring me that magic feeling, you know? I want I want every day of my existence to feel like that. So I think that's what I really want. You know what I mean? So I think for those reasons, I'm not going to apply to work at French Woods this summer. But I think it would still be really fun. I think that I should apply. I think it could be a good experience for me. And it'll it'll definitely bring me to like another level of responsibility because not only would I need to be responsible for myself, but I would need to be responsible for campers too. So it would really just like throw me into that showing up for myself kind of mode. So I don't know if that's like a good reason to apply to work as a counselor. I think it is, honestly. And if I did work there, I would either want to work in dance, in music, or in circus. But I feel like even though I do love camp and I do love the magic of camp, I feel like I should be doing something more. I feel like there's a deeper calling for me that's bigger than camp. I feel like I have a bigger purpose than to be at camp right now, which is what's holding me back from applying. It's just that I mean last summer was actually cool. I was in this play and it was a pretty fun play. And I'm really happy I did that. So maybe I should audition for another play. It's just that I want to I want to do something I've never done before. I want to live a different way that I've never lived before. Um, so maybe that would involve me doing something I've never done before, just like taking a backpack of my toiletries and a change of clothes and just going to the city and just moving there with all of that stuff I have and see what happens. I feel like that would definitely throw me out of my comfort zone and it would kind of force me to put a little pep in my step when it comes to my life, knowing that all I have is that little backpack of my stuff. Would I bring my laptop? Honestly, I wouldn't even want to bring my laptop because a laptop is so heavy and I wouldn't want to carry that around. So I'd probably leave that. I'd probably leave my car at home. I would just take the train with my bag and just go and see where the wind takes me. And uh, no matter what, I would not be homeless. So yeah, I would do whatever I would need to make my ends meet and more to provide that security for myself, whatever that may entail. Maybe it would force me to put my creativity to the test, and uh, maybe a person come into my life and we would obsess over the same things and start a business together and we'd live together and make our business together and find things in common we have together. Or maybe I meet a group of people who are also doing what I'm doing and then we just end up living together. Like, who knows what could happen if I just did that? So I feel like that could be fun. And also, I mean, when you're in the city, there's so much stuff you can do. You can do a circus program there. You can take dance classes. You can audition for shows. I mean, then you're really just like being a camper, but in real life. And I think that's what I liked about French Woods. Except in French Woods, it's different because you're just like immersed in nature. And I feel like there's something really awesome. Like French Woods is just such a high vibrational place to be. Um, there's nothing like it. And the staff there was amazing, except for this one counselor. I hated her. She was awful. She was not a good counselor. I did not like that counselor. I thought I liked her, but then I did not like her. She was worse than the campers. I'm not saying the campers are bad. I love most of the campers. I'm getting off topic. So I wanted to talk about this experience that I had recently. I need a sip of water. Hold that thought. I'm running to get my water. Don't go anywhere. Okay, I'm back. Okay. Also, this is very irrelevant, but my weight has fluctuated so much. Like within 1 week, I can go from being 100 pounds to 125 pounds and then 100 pounds. I'm just so crazy in that way. It's like my when since everything is like dependent on your mind and what you believe about yourself, then that's how your body adjusts. So because I'm like going through this crazy shifting process, it's like everything is trying to find alignment. So it's just been like very fluctuating. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's kind of causing like a lot of um, pounding on my body. So um, I just think that I'm ready for to immerse myself more into the world. That's all I'm saying. Um, so right now I'm living in a condo in the mountains and nature, and it's beautiful. But I feel like I'm depriving the world of something that's really needed by not by isolating myself for this long. And I know I'm not meant to be in isolation for the rest of my life. I mean, that is not my soul's mission. I am too large and too in charge of a person for that to ever be a thing that happens to me. Maybe in another lifetime, my soul's mission is to go into nature and be alone, to go deep within myself. And trust me, that's been part of my process too, but not forever, you know? I think I need to share my wisdom. I think I need to share my creativity. I think I need to trust in myself, trust in my voice, trust in my beliefs, and not be afraid to shine, not be afraid to just get out there, go after it, pick a dream and do it, obsess over it. You know, the most successful people are successful not because they're good at what they do, but because they're obsessed with what they do. So I need to find something that I'm obsessed with and then just let myself obsess over it to the max. And um, there's nothing wrong with obsessing over what you want to obsess over. You know what I mean? I've been obsessed with Hugo Hamlet. He's such an icon. I see he inspires me so much because he knows himself so well, and um, he's such a distinct person, and he's like I feel like he's the same person every single day, like, because he's just like who he is, and there's nothing that can get in the way of him being who he is. And I know that's where I'm heading to, and I know that there is, I mean, nothing in the way that can prevent me from becoming who I am besides myself. And maybe he was the one that was preventing himself from becoming who he is at one point in his life. And and I'd like to learn how he, what his process was in getting out of that way of himself, and to be himself. Because he's such a little icon. He's such a little legend. So, anyways, I recently went to a yoga class, and I asked the teacher if she knew of any ecstatic dances around, and then she sent me the link to an ecstatic dance. And then the next day, I clicked on the link, and it said they were having their monthly event that day at 6 p.m. and it was like 4 o'clock when I saw it, and I'm like, that sounds amazing because I haven't moved my body in so long. And I mean, dance is what makes me feel alive. Maybe that's what I need to obsess over, dance. So what? I mean, I could do that. I think that's definitely part of it, part of my obsession. So, anyways, I go to the ecstatic dance, and um, I drive to this one took place in Nyack, and I drive to this really charming town, and I park, And then I stop at a table and they're like, we're giving away free vegan sandwiches. And I'm like, okay. So then I took some free vegan sandwiches and then I walked to the church where the ecstatic dance took place. For those of you who are listening, ecstatic dance is basically like, it's kind of like going to the club, but it's like a really conscious and hard opening, healthy club. So there's no alcohol, there's no drugs. It's just like music and healing energy and just connecting with yourself and um, creating a safe space for you to feel safe and seen and express yourself through movement however you want to. And it lasted like a couple hours and it's just so awesome. I love it so much. Sometimes I even like going to ecstatic dance more than going to music festivals or raves. I haven't been to a music festival or a rave in a very long time. I think the last time I went to a rave or a music festival was, I mean, I guess you could count Costa Rica. Yeah, but it was kind of small and it was on the beach. But before that, uh, dude, I don't even know. Yeah, it's been a while. But I'd be so down to go at some point. I think I want to see Subtronics at Brooklyn Mirage this summer. I feel like that would be awesome. So, anyways, I go to ecstatic dance and I'm greeted by these really warm people. And then I'm greeted by this guy and he stares at me and I stare at him and then um, he he goes he tells me all the rules and then I head in there and then um, people are just talking. I'm like one of the first ones there and I see that there's this girl setting up this table with like cookies and cacao. It's all like vegan and raw whole foods and really good stuff with like homemade marshmallows. It was incredible. And then there's like this art section where you can like write a note in a book. And then there was like a puddle corner where it was just like mattresses and pillows on the floor and then and blankets. And then there's like a whole sound bath area and there's a whole DJ area and then there's a guy who's doing like healing Reiki work. I mean, this was the most ecstatic of the ecstatic dances I've ever seen. The only other ecstatic dances I had been to were like ones on the beach where it was just music. I mean, you're on the ocean, so that's really cool. But I mean, they really like had their shit together with this one. This one was so much fun. And the music was so crazy. And I think what made this even more like beautiful and ecstatic dance for me is because I've been in isolation for several months now. Like I really haven't moved this place at all unless it were to do my concerts, which were like once a month since March. And yeah, so I haven't been to any music venues for since I was in Costa Rica. So since like November and December, since November. So this was like the first like, social gathering I had been to in a really long time. And it blew my mind. I was doing handstands on the wall in the bathroom. It was like I had all these like cool colored lights. And then I met like this guy who was like just like a big ball of sunshine. I met multiple guys who were just like big balls of sunshines. And I met a lot of women who were just like had beautiful goddess, powerful energy too. And 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 I met this really awesome. I met some really awesome people. And one thing that I learned from this event is that sometimes when I'm talking with people, they think that I'm flirting with them when I'm not. Maybe like there's a part of me that wants them to think that I could potentially be flirting with them so that way they would want to like be friends with me. And I don't think that's like a very healthy thing to do. And I think that it's really important that I become clear, especially like because I don't like giving people the wrong intentions and I don't like making things feel confusing. And maybe that's because I feel a little confused in myself at the moment, which is why it's hard for me to be direct about things with other people. Like there were points where I couldn't tell if I was like enjoying it or if I like needed to like set boundaries in the puddle because I really was like letting allowing myself to like just be open and receive all the cuddles. And that was like a really, it felt really nice just to like be hugged and just like embraced by all those people. But then there was also a part of me that was thinking, I think these people think that I want to like hook up with them when I didn't. I just really liked being touched by people in like platonic ways, like with hugs. I think there's something really comforting about that. And I think that maybe people may have like taken my love for that like strongly, that maybe they thought that I like was flirting with them, but I wasn't. My intentions were not to flirt. Like I just really wanted to make genuine friendships and connections. And sometimes I feel like people just think that I'm flirting with them when I'm not. So I guess how do I like talk to people and make it clear about like my intentions behind like how I feel about them when I'm talking to them, even when I'm just meeting them. Like sometimes when I'm just meeting a person, like I look so deeply into their eyes and they think that like there's a connection. and and that's why I avoid eye contact because like um I don't always avoid eye contact, but sometimes it's just like I feel like I go so deep into people's eyes that I make them feel very seen, and then they think that I'm like flirting with them, or that I think that they think that I like them. And the thing is that I don't like them. I just think that like because I'm so like connected to source, I feel like I have the ability to be anybody's soulmate. So like I think I'm just like a direct reflection of other people when I'm talking to them. So um it's like when I talk to people, it's like they're looking in a mirror. And I think it's important that I don't mirror people anymore, but that like when I go into conversations with people that um, I'm I'm my own power and I'm not just a direct reflection of them. So I don't lose myself in other people. And I think that's where I need to be direct with myself, direct with people, and like um not be afraid to confront them about how they're making me feel, or about how I might be making them feel, and not being afraid to ask those questions and say what's on my mind. Because I mean, like after the dance was over, like this guy was like, "Do you want to hang in the cuddle area?" And I'm like, "Okay." And then he's like, "How would you like to be touched?" And I'm like, "I would like a back massage." And then he gave me a back massage, and then I loved it in the moment. And then everybody else started joining, and we made a massage train, and there was something that felt really nice about it, because I felt as like he was just open to whatever I was open to. So if I just wanted a platonic cuddle, I like had a very sure feeling that he wouldn't that he would only go as far as I would have wanted to go. So because I had that knowing, that's why I wasn't afraid to do that. But I knew that he would have like wanted to if I were open to it. So um, I think I would do it again. It was fun. Felt so good in the moment. Um, Maybe there's a part of me that like feels like that it's wrong to be like letting all these people just like hug me and touch me and scratch me, and because it was just so fun, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, except like there were people who came there in couples, and like they were boyfriend and girlfriend, and all of the couples like they just stayed with each other and they did not join the cuddle puddle. So it made me think, what is this, like a singles club or what? If I ever had a serious relationship, um, I think that's something we would talk about. How if we would feel comfortable being in like cuddle puddles with other people, as long as we're communicating our boundaries and um, what we're open to and what we're not open to. And I made a joke, and I think this joke scared people off. So like, someone was saying, "I love, I love getting my." I think someone was saying, "Thanks for massaging my armpits." And then I randomly said, "Have you ever had your tits massaged?" I don't know why I said that. It was just like came in my mind. And then she was like, "No, but I'm not looking for that today." And then someone asked me, "Are you?" And then I didn't answer. And I think my silence just made everybody leave. Because the truth is that no, I wasn't open to that. However, my tits in that moment were feeling really, really sore, and it probably would have felt good, honestly. And none of these people were people that I were attracted to, but they all were like great people, and they all had beautiful energies, and they were all like, we're all around the same age. So I just saw it as like friendship cuddles. And I know that's like not a thing that people do, but I think it should be, because I think it's so much fun to cuddle your friends. And no, I mean, these were just people I met. They weren't, I met them all that day. I really haven't thought about it this much until now, and I felt like it was important for me to talk about this so I can gain clarity and a deeper understanding about this experience and what it meant for me, and how I want to use it to help me understand who I am on a deeper level when it comes to friendships, um, flirting, touching, and connecting with other people. Because I really, really, really just want genuine connections with other people, and I want, I want a crew. I want, whether that's through my career, with work, with friendships, and I think those friends will come when I'm doing when I'm living my most authentic life. And maybe that most authentic life will be a result of just grabbing a backpack with my belongings and moving to the city or Brooklyn or whatnot. And I feel like now would be the time to do it while the weather is warm, which is why I feel like maybe I should do that instead of going to French Woods or applying to work at French Woods. I just don't want to be homeless. So it's like, if I go, I just need to trust in myself that I'm not going to be homeless. A bird just flew by. So maybe I would just make instant friendships, or I would just convince people. Maybe I would sell an idea to somebody and they would invest in that idea. Just like chilling at the park, sit next to a bench, next to somebody at the bench. I hear someone over talking, and then I'm like, okay, wait, I could be a part of this person's life, and I could tell them my idea, and they'd be like, okay, I'm hiring you, and then I get a job right there. You know, maybe that could happen. So maybe I should just do that. Okay, I also wanted to talk about recently I was on TikTok, and I've talked about this before, but there's this guy, and he calls himself an alien, and he's a coach, he's a life coach, and he's a psychic guy, and he goes on to TikTok live, and on his live, he goes on there for about 2 hours, and if you want, you can, in these live videos that he does, you can send him $44 and he'll give you like a 15-minute reading. You just send him any question you have, and then he'll tap into the energy. He'll tap into you and your higher self. He'll like ask the source to bring me the higher version of whoever he's doing the reading of, and then he'll ask that person the question, and then he'll give the answer. And I asked, and I first time I did it, I didn't send him any money. I just wanted to see what he does. And then the next time when I was watching it, I was in such a low state, and I just felt so stuck I felt like a prisoner of my mind at that point. I was just really, really deep into a funk, and I felt like I needed help getting out of it. And I saw that he was on TikTok live, so I checked my Venmo. I had like $100 in my Venmo account, and I said, I'm gonna send him $44 to give me this reading. And then I sent it to him without even like coming up with a question first. I'm like, oh shoot, I have to ask him a question. So then I went to ChatGPT and I said, ChatGPT, based off of everything you know about me, what question should I ask Coach Monarch during this reading? And then the question that ChatGPT gave to me, I'm gonna read the question. The question that ChatGPT gave to me was, is there anything I'm not seeing right now that would quantum leap me into my highest timeline? So that was like the premise of the question I asked, but I added like a lot more to it, and that was the question I sent him. And then he said, okay, let's do this. I am tapping into the energy of Brandy's higher self. And then his eyes like roll up, and then he like goes into this like crazy channel. He basically like channels me, And I felt very violated because I don't want people channeling me. Only I can channel me. I'm like, whoa, wait, what did I sign up for? Then he channels me. And the thing is that, like, I channel too in my own way. So a lot of times I talk to my higher self too. And I'm most connected to my higher self. So I didn't understand how he could possibly connect to my higher self. So I'm like, and when he connected to my higher self, then I tapped into my meditation channel and I connected to my higher self. And then in my mind, I thought to myself, I am here, I am here. And then when I thought to myself, I am here, I heard him on the TikTok say, mm-hmm. And I'm like, why did you say, mm-hmm? Was that because you heard me say I am here, or was that something else? So I think I'm going to ask him that. Because he sent me a follow-up email asking if I wanted to go further with the coaching. But the thing is that I've had a life coach in the past, and with that life coach, I grew so dependent on her, and I knew in that moment that I couldn't be taking advice from other people. I needed to be my own coach, and I think that goes the same with Coach Monarch. I think he can offer me a lot of help, but I think that it's up to me to realize how powerful I actually am and know that there is no other person or psychic on this planet that can tell me what I need to hear besides me and my connection to my source. I am open to receiving help. I am open to receiving guidance. When it comes to paying people for that guidance, I don't know if I'm open to that. But maybe, because I've never really been a fan of therapy. But I think coaching could be helpful in different ways. I think I know that everybody has their talents, and it's important for me to open myself to listening to what other people have to say and their opinions. And yes, I can pick and choose what I want to take from them, but I can't be like so disconnected from my intuition that I only believe what they tell me and I take their beliefs on as my own, because then I'm like, okay, if I'm believing every single thing that you're telling me, then I'm not saying you're wrong, but is there anything that we do disagree on? Am I just an extension of you? What are my beliefs? Who am I? Who would I be without you to tell me who you think I am? So that's why I feel a little iffy about this whole life coach thing. Because ultimately, I think we're all our own coaches. And I think if we want to be, we can be the coach and the master of our own life without the help of other people. And I know this. And sometimes I let myself fall into traps thinking that other people know me better than I know myself. Especially when I'm feeling low. Then I feel most vulnerable to taking on help from other people and paying people to help me. When I'm so done with that, I don't need to pay people to help me anymore. But I'm open to taking advice, and I'm open to hearing what they have to say. But I just don't know if I'm open to having a life coach or a therapist, or definitely not a psychiatrist. Drugs are the last thing this girl needs. Unless it's plant medicine, I will do that. Herbs, being in tune with your diet. I mean, diet is such a huge role in your mental health. If you have a shit diet and you're not going outside, you better expect your mental health to be fucked up. And And if you're surrounded by chaos, by an environment that's making you not feel safe and grounded, you better expect your mind is going to be fucked up. So right now, I'm in this environment. I'm very grateful to be here, and I think this is a really, really, really good place for me to be as I learn how to be safe in my body, and I'm still learning how to feel safe in my body. And I know that I don't feel fully safe in my body yet because I feel as though it's more beneficial for me to resort back to old coping mechanisms instead of not doing so. So, those old coping mechanisms like scrolling on TikTok all day, binge eating, sleeping all day, sometimes it's really hard for me to sit with myself and my emotions and feel safe doing so, especially when I'm alone. It took me, and I was wanting to talk on here, and it took me such a long time to be able to bring myself to film another video like this because I know how helpful they are. So, like I was saying, I'm in a space right now where I can learn how to feel safe in my body. And I think until I'm running in an autopilot mode where security and safety in myself is the new baseline, then that's where I'll feel free to be open to taking potential new steps in my life. But until I feel that like solid sense of safety and grounding, and I fully let go of the need to binge eat when I'm not hungry, bite my nails, and watch TikToks, until I don't feel a need to do any of that anymore, then my life is going to stay stagnant. Like, there's a part of me that believes that doing all of those things are better than doing something else, or else I wouldn't be doing it. There's also another part of me believes that speaking to a camera for 1 hour is also better than doing all of those things. And I think the more I bring myself to do things that I know will make me feel good in the long term, like speaking what my thoughts and going for a run outside and being creative and journaling and taking good care of myself and finding ways that I can dance. I mean, maybe I should get out of this place so I could have access to dance. I mean, yeah, I can dance anywhere I want, but it's kind of hard to dance because the speaker that I have right now isn't that loud. And I like doing real dancing, like in a dance studio with professionals where I'm being pushed. I like that. That's what I like. Ecstatic dance is fun. Just doing free movement, that's fun. But I'm also like very talented and I can pick up steps very easily. And I love training and I love impressing people and I love impressing myself. And I love making dreams come true. But I also think that when it comes to achieving dreams, it's also important to detach yourself from those dreams. So I'm trying to find that balance between not feeling attached to a certain outcome and still like having drive to live. Because sometimes I feel so detached from my dreams that it's like, what more is there left to do? And sometimes, I've said this before, but I feel as though I'm not from, like, I feel as though my soul has incarnated, is originally from a different planet, and I was just curious to see what Earth was like. So I'm just a curious person. I'm just curious about the human existence and what it's like to be a human. And I guess some people love being human, and some people find it very free and easy to be a human. And I think that I love being a human too, and I think that I also find it very free and easy to be a human too when I allow myself to. And the truth is that I don't think I've ever allowed myself to. So as I step into a life I've never lived before, I'm going to need to change a lot of what I've allowed myself to believe and do and think in the past differently. I hope that made sense. Because where I'm heading right now in my life is something that I've never experienced before. Everything I thought I knew about myself is about to go out the door. Everything I thought I knew about my existence here is about to go out the door. Everything I thought about who I need to be is going to go out the door. I don't know when and I don't know how, but I know that's what's going to happen, because I know that I'm about to set myself free from self-sabotage and from holding myself back. So I think up until now, I found a lot of comfortability in self-sabotaging and in holding myself back. So now I'm stepping into a life where I don't believe that anymore. So if I don't believe that, then what is that? Then what is it that I'm going to believe? And that's something that's unknown. And that's exciting, and it's scary because it's unfamiliar. And I keep asking, what do I do? What do I need to try? What do I need to commit to every day? What do I need to be envisioning? What do I need to visualize every day? Sometimes it's like the past couple of days, it was so hard for me to get out of bed. And I remember I was lying in bed this morning. It was about 9 a.m. And I said, what do I need to think? I said out loud. I talked to myself out loud. I woke up and I closed my eyes. Because I had a really, really cool dream last night. Okay, this girl from high school, she keeps popping up in every single dream I have. I don't know if I should reach out to her or not. I guess, I could. But, I don't know. I don't know why she keeps popping up in my dreams. Are you thinking of me? Maybe. I thought she was cool. We weren't really that close in high school, but I always thought she was cool. Anyways, I thought to myself out loud, or I spoke out loud, what do I need to think right now to get me out of bed? And then I went back to sleep, and then my mind started going, and then the thought came to me, I am exactly where I need to be. And then I'm like, I am exactly where I need to be. And then that made me feel really peaceful, that thought. And then I got out of bed. So I knew I was exactly where I needed to be. And right here, I'm exactly where I need to be. Right now, right here, in this moment, I am exactly where I am meant to be. There is no other place I am meant to be. And that, it feels so good. Because I always thought that I needed to be dancing and majoring in dance and being a professional dancer and auditioning for shows. I always thought that's where I needed to be, and I always thought I was depriving myself from not doing that. But knowing that that's not where I'm meant to be right now, and knowing that I am meant to be exactly where I'm sitting right here, dude, that just takes a whole weight off of me. It's thank God, because I felt like I was letting myself down by not being over there right now. And listen, I'm not saying that's not in my future, but it's not right now, and that is okay. That is perfectly okay. I am exactly where I need to be, and where I am right now is beautiful. Wow. And I just need to like allow myself to express my thoughts like this more often. I mean, I went like 7 days without talking to anybody, and when I do talk, I've just been doing these podcasts because it's hard for me to tell anybody everything that's on my mind. You know, I don't have any best friends. I don't have any close friends where I share my entire world to because I don't trust people. And I don't like being persuaded to do different things. So I stopped trusting people. However, I trust the internet apparently. And I trust God and I trust myself. I trust myself, I trust myself, and I feel safe with myself. And I tell myself that, and I remind myself that. Do you trust yourself? Do you feel safe with yourself? Do you feel safe in your own company? Or do you only feel safe when you're with that person? If you only feel safe when you're with somebody else, then you're in a codependent relationship with that person, and the relationship that you have with yourself is untrustworthy. And because your relationship that you have with yourself is untrustworthy, that means whoever you feel safe with in your life is a representation of the untrust that you have within yourself. So then you're just surrounded by untrustworthy, unsafe people. When you feel safe with yourself and you trust yourself, you attract other people who also feel safe with themselves and who also trust themselves. And then when you attract those people, when you become a magnet to those people, that's what brings you into alignment with your purpose and what you're meant to be doing. Because your purpose will only arise when you trust yourself and when you feel safe with yourself. And that's what I'm learning how to do. After my session with Coach Monarch, he said that my root chakra, my three main root chakras, my sacral chakra and my solar plexus chakra, those need the most attention right now, the most care, because feeling grounded and secure in yourself, that lies within the root chakra. And to be honest, I know that my root chakra needs more stability. I mean, you could just look at my root chakra and it doesn't look secure. I can do all the ab workouts in the world, but there's still an underlying layer of instability, and you can see that. I can feel it in my energy. I can feel that there's a level of insecurity within me that's about to go. It's about to not be there anymore. And I'm stepping into that new chapter, that new life, that new door. And he gave me some pretty powerful affirmations to say every single morning, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that every single morning while I'm here, and it's going to change me, and I know it's going to change me. So this is probably one of the last videos I'm going to be making here, because I'm changing. I am changing. The Brandy you see here is not going to be the same Brandy you see 5 days from now. I can tell you that right now. Because the way that I'm exponentially changing and shifting, things are going to be moving fast. I might be here 5 days from now, but there is also a chance I might not be here 5 days from now. I will be somewhere else. This might be the last podcast episode for a while until I get my laptop again, if I decide to move to New York with only a backpack. Or I might end up working at French Woods this summer. I don't know yet. Well, I'd have to apply first. We'll see what happens. And I'd like to share something that I do every morning to get the most out of your morning affirmations. So, I've said this before, but every morning I journal 3 pages. It's just what I do every morning to connect to the present moment and to connect to earth and to bring myself out of my head and onto the physical and into the physical reality. And then if I don't go back to sleep, which I don't like to do, but when I'm in a funk, I'll just go back to sleep after I do my 3 pages. That's what I did this morning, and I don't like it when I do that. But sometimes I feel so cloudy and foggy that everything just doesn't seem right, and that's the only thing I can do. But usually what I like to do is I write the 3 pages, and then right after that I go into a breath work. I've just been doing the breath works that I find on YouTube. I like to do the breath work by Sandy. He has a couple 1 hour long guided breath works, and man, those are so freaking powerful. Those are so powerful. Breathwork is so powerful. Breathworks are like little mini ayahuasca journeys. They're so amazing. And when you do them every day, I mean, bro, your life changes. It alters your state of mind, your state of consciousness. And then right after the breathwork, when you're in that like really present state of consciousness where you just like let go and release, because breathwork, you release so much. I do 10 minutes every day, but sometimes I'll do an hour depending on how much is on my mind. So after I do breathwork, I'm in an elevated state of consciousness where I'm open to receiving. That's when I do the affirmations. And when I do these affirmations, I have a mirror set up, and I do the right after the breath work. I play the affirmations, and okay, when I do my affirmations, I record in my phone myself saying these affirmations, so it's in my voice, not anybody else's voice, my voice. And when I say the affirmation, I have like, for instance, I have an affirmations called Rebirth, where I'm rebirthing into a new version of myself, and there's different things to say to help with that process. And each affirmation is 1 sentence long. I repeat that 1 sentence 3 times. 1 to hear it, 1 to feel it, and 1 to secure it. I call it the 3-time affirmation rule. And I say the affirmation 3 times, and then I go to the next one. And then I'll play some healing music while I do that. And when I do those affirmations and I say them and I look at myself dead in the eyes in the mirror, I always have a good day. I always have a good day. When I don't do that, I have a crappy day. And, you know, the reason I used to not do it because I thought it was stupid. I would make fun of myself for doing that. But then as I did it, I'm like, the reason I'm making fun of myself is because I don't believe these things about myself. So like I would say it in the mirror and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I don't actually believe these things about myself. So then I would say it over and over and over again, looking at myself until I felt it, until it felt right in my heart and in my body, and until I fully believed it. And it's a process, I mean, especially when you don't grow up believing these things about yourself. It's all about remembering, you know? When you know that you're just a child of Mother Earth, it's not a matter of if you're worthy, it's about remembering your worth, you know? So through these affirmations, I remember my worth, I remember my power, I remember the light I am, I remember my ability to say no. I remember what's important to me. I remember what I love. I remember how to have fun and enjoy life. I remember how to play. I remember why I'm here on Earth. I know why I'm not here on Earth. I'm not here on Earth to take shit from other people. Sure, that could be part of my lesson. But after learning the lesson, I know that's what I don't want. That's not what I'm here. What I'm here is to be me and remember what it means to be me. And when you remember what it means to be you, then you know the truth. And when you know the truth, then you're free. Sometimes people ask me, what do you think would happen? What do you think happens when you die? And I think that I already died and I ended up here. Now it's just time to live and be in heaven. I hope you all have a beautiful day, and thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Peace and love.